Welcome everyone to the Stories Iceborne mod tutorial. First, I'm going to give you a brief overview of the mod so you know exactly what you're getting into. Then I'm going to go through the installation tutorial, and then I will break down all of the features of the mod in more detail and how to use them. So what is the Stories Iceborne mod? This mod is meant to be a balanced way to add monster companions to the game in both single and multiplayer. It works in base Monster Hunter world as well as the DLC Iceborne. The DLC is not required for the mod to work, even if you are using DLC creatures such as Shrieking Legiana, Garuga, Silver and Gold, etc. The only thing that you're missing out on, to my knowledge, by not having Iceborne is obviously the DLC and level ups, because your levels will be capped once you reach the end of high rank. Speaking of levels, monster companions are designed to not be overpowered, but allow you to have a cool pet that is stronger than your palico, but not as strong as a hunter. By default, they will fight the nearest hostile monster, with the exception of small monsters like Shamos due to the way that they are coded. You will have to take care of those little guys by yourself. Your new companion will have many features to make their integration as seamless as possible, from naming and riding to unique combat abilities and behaviors. Also be aware that while using this mod, you will no longer be able to bring a Monstie and all of your gear, such as mantles or boosters, on hunts, with the exception of the glider and ghillie mantles, as well as the health booster. Disabling Monsties in your Monstie Manager will re-enable all gear without the need to uninstall the mod, but you will have to choose. We'll go over this more later, but this Monstie Manager here allows you to enable and disable the features of the mod with the simple click of a button. While it says pets disabled, this actually means that all features of the mod, including the one that we will be going over in just a moment, will be enabled and disabled whenever you click these buttons. Lastly, as of 3.3.1, the Sophie and Cold Sieges will be permanently available as part of the mod, and will no longer rotate out with one another, so you can enjoy any siege, anytime. Now this does not include the Kolv Master Rank mission, this only includes the sieges themselves. So Sophie Recon, Sophie's Proper Siege, and Kolv's Proper Siege, both normal and arc-tempered. Starting out with the installation tutorial, I want to quickly mention that there will be no mod support for those using pirated versions of the game. For returning writers who are updating their mod, please uninstall the console plugin mod, which was previously required for the mod to work. There is now plugin functionality built into Stories Iceborne, and it is no longer required and may even conflict with the mod, so please uninstall the console plugin mod. For new writers, we are going to go down to the first step here, which is the latest C++ redistributable. Click this link here, scroll down to this box, and at the bottom, it may move, but it should be at the bottom here, x64. Click the link, it'll pop up in your downloads, and then simply show in folder, run the exe, and restart your computer once it is completed. Our first proper mod is Stracker's Loader. This mod must be manually downloaded, so please do not use any mod managers for this mod or any mod during this tutorial. That being said, let's go to this link here for Strackers, which will take us to the file page, and under main files there should be this here. It is currently 3.0.1 and we are going to manually download this mod. Clicking download will take you to this page where you can choose the slow or fast download, which will vary depending on whether or not you have free or premium. Just click one of these and we'll move on to the next step. Now that Strackers is downloaded, I highly recommend saving Strackers and your other mods in an archive somewhere safe. I personally move all my mods from download to a separate drive for Monster Hunter World, and I have a folder specifically for Strackers and Performance Booster here, since they require one another. That way, if there's ever an error with your installation, you can quickly upgrade and downpatch as needed and figure out exactly which part of your installation is broken. You can also compare files to see if you've made any errors in your installation by looking inside of these archives and comparing them to your install. If you would like, you could also move these folders from your downloads to your desktop and simply delete them once you've completed the installation. Now that I've chosen a location for Stracker's Loader, I'm going to extract the files. Now you can either right-click, extract all, or you can use a separate program such as 7-zip, navigate to the folder, click on the file you wish to extract, and click this extract button right here. Because this mod is very small, it will do it pretty much instantaneously, and we have our Stracker's loader folder ready to go. The next thing to do is to locate your Monster Hunter World Steam folder where you can see the game exe. If you're unsure how to find this folder, I can show you how to access it through Steam. In Steam, you want to locate Monster Hunter World, right-click on the game's name, open Properties, and under the Installed Files tab here on the left, click Browse at the top right. This will open the folder that I've already shown you, but if yours is in a difficult to find location, it will help you navigate directly there. Next, we want to go back to our Strackers window over here, which we have kept open on the side, and we're going to highlight everything in this folder, and we're going to find an empty spot away from everything and copy it to Monster Hunter World, and I'm going to go ahead and let it replace all the files in the destination. With Strackers installed, we're going to move on to the Performance Booster and Plugin Extender. We're going to click this link right here, which will take us to the Files page of their mod page, version 1.22 currently, and we're going to manually download once again. It will tell us we require Stracker's Loader, which we have just installed. We're going to click Download, and then download the mod. Just like before, we are going to want to move our Performance Booster mod into either an archive or onto our desktop for easy work. And we're going to want to make sure that we keep our Monster Hunter World Steam folder open because we still need this. And just like before, again, we're going to either right click and extract all here, or we are going to open a secondary program such as 7-zip to click on the Performance Booster mod and extract the files. Once the files have been extracted, open the folder and you will find a single native PC folder in here and nothing else. We will click this folder and drag it into an empty space and replace the files in the destination. With the prerequisites installed, we're going to move on to Stories Iceborne itself. Currently, the file version is 3.4.0. However, this main file link, even if this changes whenever you're looking at it in the Discord, unless stated otherwise, this tutorial is up to date. If it changes and this tutorial is for some reason not going to work for you anymore, it will be stated in the Discord, in the description of this video, and I will link to the new version in the end card. With that said, we're going to click this Google Drive link right here, download the mod. It's going to give us a little Google Drive warning because the file is too large, and we're going to download it anyway. Just like before, we're going to take our mod folder and we're going to keep it either in an archive or on our desktop, and we're also going to keep our Monster Hunter World Steam folder open for this. Now, I've already extracted it, but it's important to note that unlike the previous mods that were very small, you cannot right-click and extract all with this on some PCs, especially Windows 11 PCs. The file is simply too large, so you're going to have to use 7-zip or WinRAR to extract this folder. I personally am using 7-zip just like with the other mods, and just like before, you will select the zipped Monster Hunter Stories Iceborne folder and extract the files. It may take a little while, just give it enough time to safely extract everything before you close it. Once it is extracted, we can go into our Monster Hunter Stories Iceborne version 3.4 folder, or a later version if you are watching this in the future. And all of the files you need are here. Now, unlike the other mods that we've worked with so far, this file does not require all of these to be put into your Monster Hunter World Steam folder. You can put all of them in your Steam folder, however, the only ones that are required to put in your Steam folder are these two, the native PC and Stories Iceborne. These are the ones that make the mod work with your game. So you're going to grab them and copy them over somewhere safe where they're not going to overlap with anything or go into any folders, and allow them to merge. If it asks you to overwrite any files, let it. And once again, because this mod is so large, it is going to take a while. With those files in place, the next thing you want to do is consider where you're going to keep these two. Now, like I said, you can put them in your Monster Hunter World folder just like everything else. I personally choose to keep them in the archive. The important thing is that you keep these files together. Now we're going to open this Monstie Manager here, which will tell you how to back up your save data for your Monsties. This data saves the Monstie's names and levels, which we will go over at a later date. I'll also show you where the save is and how to back it up. But for now, we're just going to click in. If you've already set a native PC, it will tell you where it is, but it may also tell you to set it because you're opening this for the first time. And we're going to take this Monstie Manager over here for a second. this box for you should be empty. And how we're going to fill this box is we're going to go over to our Monster Hunter World Steam folder here that we've been placing things into this entire time. We're going to open this native PC folder, and at the top we're going to click in so that it highlights everything. We're going to copy and we're going to paste this link into the Monstie Manager and then click Use Path for native PC. And then this is simply confirming that this is the correct path. Next, I'm going to take this Monstie Manager here and we're going to enable pets, which will enable the entire mod. I'm going to disable multiplayer because I'm currently going to be playing solo. And now I'm going to select a Monstie. Since we have Brute Tigrex back here in the background, let's try to find him. Boop. And then once you have a Monstie selected from this list, we're going to click Select Monstie. Okay, we're just confirming that is correct. And if at any time I wish to disable the mod, I want to play online with other people without the mod, I will simply disable pets, and he will no longer appear in my game. And if I want to play with other people online who do have the mod, I enable multiplayer. We will go into more depth of what exactly these buttons do later, and then we will move on to the next part. You may have noticed while we were installing Stories Iceborne that I had this extra file down here called savefile.bin. This is the Monstie save for your levels and the names of your creatures, and you want to periodically back this up just in case something happens to your game or your mod that corrupts your files. Every creature in this mod levels separately, and they all can have unique names, so you don't want to redo all of that work. And to avoid that, we're going to go into our Monster Hunter World Steam folder again. I've backed out of native PC. We are back in the main Monster Hunter World folder where the game itself is. We're going to locate this Stories Iceborne folder, open it up, open up this folder called Classic, then User, and it's right here. You will simply copy this file, take it into a safe place, which is another reason why I have an archive here, paste it, and then I'm going to let it overwrite this file because this one is actually a few days out of date. Lastly, just because this question does get asked somewhat often, I want you to know that all of these files are required to keep, including the Monstie Manager. This Monstie Manager is what makes the mod control. So even though these folders here make the mod function, you won't be able to change your Monstie, you won't be able to enable and disable the mod, you won't be able to swap between multiplayer and single player, and you won't be able to use the Siege feature if you don't have the Monstie Manager. You need this. It is essentially an on-off button as well as some other settings that you need. So please keep the most recent version of the Monstie Manager safe. If you are updating from an old version of the mod, you can delete the old versions. You can see here I have a folder called Archive. These are older versions of the mod, and I have a different Monstie Manager in here called 3.3.0. This is from a previous version of the mod that is no longer needed. You can either delete it, or like I've done, you can keep it in a separate archive folder away from the main mod. I'm going to skim through the rest of this because we're going to go into this in more detail in the proper guide and about. We have a few channels in the Discord that you would want to check out. I recommend that you join if you're not in the Discord already so you can see not only updates for the mod, but if you have any issues, there is a known issues and compatibility page specifically talking about known bugs, perceived bugs, things that aren't actually bugs but people are having issues with or confused about, as well as mod conflictions. If there are any mods that you use that change maps and map spawns, they are going to conflict with this mod. And then of course we have Iceborne Community Edition, which has its own page that tells you how to install this mod with Ice, for those of you that are interested. We also have an add-ons page. The first thing at the top is if you want to make a nicer shortcut image for your Monstie Manager like I have here. You can see that mine is Fulgur and Nav. I have a reshade that I recommend. There is a tutorial for how to change the look of your pet. Currently this tutorial only includes how to use other modded skins to reskin your Monstie, but it will make them look unique from wild creatures. So you can have this white Teostra here, and all of the wild Teostras will still be red. For Silverlos and Glav, there is a separate tutorial with a couple extra steps because currently they're broken. You can still reskin them, it just takes a little extra work, which will hopefully be fixed in the next patch. And lastly, for those of you who want a more definitive answer to how much damage your Monstie is actually doing, you can download Hunter Pie. I chose Hunter Pie because it is the most popular and most highly recommended mod of this kind. You won't see any floating damage numbers for your Monstie, either with Stories Iceborne itself or with Hunter Pie. However, Hunter Pie will add health bars to the wild monsters and their parts, and you can see whenever your Monstie hits them, just like your Palico. Essentially, just for those of you wondering, the Monsties are like your Palico. You don't see their damage that they're doing. You will see them stagger the enemy, break parts, etc, etc. Now, with the mod installed, in a moment I'm going to explain to you the features of the mod and how to use them in greater detail. Here's a quick overview of the current roster before we get started with the breakdown. This list of Monsties is from mod version 3.4.0. More Monsties will be added in the future, as well as balancing tweaks as needed, to keep the roster fairly even with one another. Regarding these Monsties, I will also go into further detail about their special traits and abilities later on. Okay, so the first feature we're going to break down today is the leveling system, which is designed to offer balanced gameplay from start to finish. Regardless of whether you are a new or old player, the leveling system offers a way for you to enjoy Monstie companions without overpowering your game. This is not a mod designed to make the game easier by any means, and while Monsties will surely help by distracting enemy monsters and offering a little bit of extra damage, the way that they've been implemented into the game is meant to be as unintrusive as possible for the average player. This is why some decisions, such as limiting the use of mantles and boosters, have been made. While progressing through the game from the beginning, your Monsties will hit level caps to prevent them from becoming overpowered while you play through the story beats. Simply play through story missions to reach the next level cap. However, the mod is also designed with the idea of grinding between these level caps in mind, so don't feel like you have to rush through the story in order to keep your Monstie from being too weak. Not only are their levels designed to keep in tandem with your own, and the current enemies that you face, but the leveling system encourages you to complete all of the optional side quests and investigations along the way. If you do spend a lot of time farming between these level caps, and max out your Monstie's current level, the experience gained while at the XP cap will save, increasing your Monstie's level accordingly once you have broken the cap. Once you have completed the story of Master Rank, including defeating Shara Ishvalda, the level cap system will be removed with a max level of 99. So what do levels affect exactly? Levels are used to increase your Monstie's damage output, as well as unlock their abilities. They also improve the effectiveness, frequency, and duration of your Monstie's abilities once they've been unlocked. To be more specific, most Monstie abilities have a cooldown before they can be used again, and the frequency improvement shortens that cooldown between uses. Levels do not, however, increase your Monstie's health, and they cannot die during normal gameplay. It's important to note that levels are saved per species, per save profile. Your Zinogre and Shrieking Legiana will not share the same level and will need to be leveled separately. The way you level your Monsties are by doing missions and expeditions, including the Guiding Lands. They gain Hunter Rank XP for doing these missions, just like you. Expeditions only offer XP upon kill, and at a lower rate than quests or the Guiding Lands. Guiding Lands are the best way to grind levels on your Monsties once you have unlocked the area. If you have completed the story of Iceborne, defeating Shara Ishvalda for the first time gives a free permanent 300% XP buff to all Monsties under level 40, enabling quicker leveling to Master Rank. This encourages you to mix up your choice of Monstie, giving everyone on the roster a try. The Shara XP buff also stacks with other XP buffs, such as the Resurgence quest buffs, which unlock a permanent 2% buff to all Monsties on your save file. These buffs stack with each other and other buffs mentioned here. Quests that reward the 2% XP buff are Veiling of the Sun, event difficulty, A Fury to Rival a Volcano, event difficulty, and the Avio Gladius Quest 3, a special XP buff that only applies to Monstie pairs, passively boosts the XP gained by the other if one is higher level. These Monstie pairs include Silver Rathalos and Gold Rathian, and Lunastra and Teostra. For example, Teostra is level 40. You decide to start using Lunastra, who is only level 1. She will level faster due to Teostra being higher level than her, and vice versa if their roles were to be swapped. If you have also defeated Shara on the save, the boost will stack with a 300% XP buff gained until Lunastra reaches level 40. This buff also stacks with the Resurgence quest buffs. If at any time you wish to check your Monstie's current level, simply open the in-game chat and type /MHS status. You'll receive two messages, one telling you the current Monstie that you have selected and then their current level. While leveling your Monsties, you're going to want to know where you can take them. Most maps in the game work as you would expect, with your Monstie being able to follow you to almost all of them, with a few exceptions. These exceptions include the normal special arena, the gated special arena, and Zora Magdaros' special arena. Monsties can accompany you to Xeno'jiiva's special arena, but you will need to teleport Monsties between zones. Whenever Xeno flies to the next platform, you can ride either a flying Monstie or a winged drake, and a landlocked Monstie or a non-ridden flying Monstie will need to be teleported to the next platform in order to join you. They can also join you in Kolv's special arena in both the Siege and the Master Rank mission. Monsties may have trouble navigating through Kolv's first area. Teleporting them to you may help with this, but they will figure it out on their own, and in the beginning you're meant to be gathering tracks and dropping traps on her anyway. By the time you get to the second area, the Monsties will accompany you as normal and help you to fight her. In the Velkhana Attack Celiana arena, the story mission functions properly with your Monsties being able to join you. However, the non-story mission version does not allow them to join you. Whether you are fighting Velkhana, Lunastra, Teostra, or someone else, your Monstie will not be able to accompany you to the Velkhana Attack Celiana non-story mission arena. They can, however, fight Ruiner Nergigante in his special arena, as well as Shara Ishvalda in her special arena in both of her phases. Monsties will also accompany you to Safi'jiiva's sieges, both the Safi'jiiva Recon as well as the Siege proper, which is now permanently available as of 3.3.1. Monsties can even join you on Safi quest mods as long as Safi is spawned in their intended map. Similar to Xeno'jiiva, you will need to teleport Monsties between zones whenever Safi moves to the next area. You can ride flying Monsties between zones, however, if you are using the Siege Assist, you will need to teleport the secondary Monstie or any landlocked Monsties down to the area. Monsties also are able to spawn within Elatrion's arenas regardless of the quest type, though flyers may take a moment to arrive. You can use the teleport command to bring them directly to you, or simply wait for them to travel to your location. Grounded Monsties should appear immediately within the vicinity. The same goes for the Fatalis special arena. Flying Monsties may take a moment to arrive, however both flying and landlocked Monsties will appear in the arena. Monsties also appear in the Resurgence mod's White Fatalis arena, and they can navigate to the Resurgence mod's Crimson Fatalis arena. If you find them struggling to find their way in, simply teleport them to you. Now let's walk through the basic command list and how to assign these commands to your Radial menu. These are general use commands, and more specific commands may be listed separately with their relevant topics. First on the list is the Sit shoutout. Your Monstie will not attack and will stop following you when you use this shoutout, which is great for keeping Monsties from accidentally waking up sleeping targets. Next is a shoutout called Follow Walk, which will not only allow your Monstie who you've told to sit to start following you again, but it will tell flying Monsties to navigate walking or running on the ground. You can use this command while mounted or unmounted. Similarly, Follow Fly tells Monsties that are capable of flight that they can navigate through the air. You can use this command while mounted or unmounted. If you prefer hotkeys, there is a Follow Fly and Follow Walk toggle. On PlayStation controller, hit square, on Xbox controller, hit X, and on keyboard, hit T. This command can only be used while mounted. Next are the ability shoutouts. All Monsties have special abilities. Not all of them can be activated using the ability shoutouts, and some Monsties will only have one activatable ability, while others may have all three. We'll go over the abilities in more detail later. However, there are 3 shoutouts named simply Ability 1, Ability 2, and Ability 3 that will allow you to assign any activatable abilities to your radial wheel. There is also a Teleport shoutout, which brings your Monstie to your location when your weapon is sheathed. A more combat-focused shoutout is called Focus This Part. The Focus This Part shoutout tells your Monstie to focus on the last monster part that you hit while using the target camera. To target a different part, simply hit another area of the enemy monster and use the command again, while using the target cam. Cancel part targeting by reusing the command with nothing targeted with your target cam. Doing so will set your Monstie back to default settings, where they attack freely. This command allows for easier breaks, including tail severs for one special Monstie. Now I'm going to walk you through how to use these shoutout commands easily and quickly with your in-game Radial menu. You can have up to 4 Radial menus set at any given time by holding down the Radial menu key and cycling through the 4 shortcuts. To set these quick slots, open up your normal in-game menu and under the Items and Equipment tab, locate Customize Radial menu. Click Quest Settings, and a new menu will open up on the left showing a visual wheel under a tab called Quest, where I have already assigned all the Monstie commands. You can also separately assign Radial commands to your headquarters, and at the bottom of this left window, you can see the 4 separate shortcut keys for the different Radial menu settings. If you would like, you can have a quick slot for potions, a quick slot for commands, and whatever else you would like to bring with you. To assign these commands to the wheel, simply click on one of the diamonds, which will open the window on the right. Then you will cycle through the pages under Add to Radial menu, and shoutouts are under the Speech Bubble tab, labeled Shoutouts. In the video on screen, you can see me clicking each one of the commands, showing the exact page where you can locate them, and assigning them to my Radial wheel. On this page, you can also change the dialogue options that appear when you use these commands to be more in sync with the Monstie commands. You may notice that my command, Focus this part, still has a dialogue option from normal gameplay, because this replaces one of the social commands. The flavor text doesn't affect the ability at all, however, you can change them to suit whatever you would like. Separately, on the Headquarters tab, you can also set some of your Monstie commands there, such as the Sit and Follow commands, which they will still follow in the hub world. You can also assign some emotes to this Radial wheel, and you can see that I have a special tab called Relaxation on my Hotkeys menu, where I have assigned special emotes that link up to certain Monstie behaviors that only work in the hub world. These emotes or gestures will work in Celiana, indoors, outdoors, or in your player home, and at Astera in the lower levels, outdoors only. Not all Monsties have the same gestures, as they are limited by species animations. To find your list of gestures, open up your in-game menu and under the Communication tab, which looks like a little chat box, gestures should be right at the top. The list of gestures that affects your Monstie are the Sit gesture, which allows your Monstie to lay down and go into their sleep animation, the Relax gesture, which has your Monstie go into a sunbathing or resting idle animation, where they sit or lay down but stay awake. There is also a Call gesture that turns your Monstie's attention towards you and will wake them up from their sleeping or resting animation. And these last 4, Show Off, Boast, Taunt, and Pumped Up, will all make your Monstie roar, howl, or play their charge animation. All 4 of these commands, Show Off, Boast, Taunt, and Pumped Up, have the same effect, but they are separate commands that you get to choose from, so you can pick your favorite. Now let's talk about the target camera. The targeting system is an essential aspect of this mod. Not only does cycling through the targeting system select your Monstie's target, but it alters their behavior and keeps the mod working as intended in certain scenarios. Multiple features require the target camera being set up and utilized properly to work. Target your Monstie to make them ignore other monsters, and or allow you to have full control of their movement outside of combat when mounted. More detail will be given under the mounting section of this tutorial. Target nothing to have them fight any aggressor, not including small monsters like Jagras and Shamos. Target a wild monster and they will track down the target when mounted and only fight that monster during combat. They will ignore any others. In the Sophy siege, you must have Sophy targeted or your Monsties will stand idle and not assist you. Make sure you have the right target camera settings for the mod to function properly. To select these camera settings, go into your Options menu, to Camera Settings, and on page 2 you will see an option labeled Camera Style. Click it and select Target Camera. With the target cam mastered, let's discuss mount controls. It's important to mention that this is not Rise. You cannot control your Monstie's attacks, only their target and where they go. Mounting also requires the use of Shoutout 13, otherwise known as Mount Up, which you can bind to your Radial menu. Refer to the Radial menu instructions from earlier. Alternatively, controller users can also use Circle on PlayStation controller, B on Xbox controller, or A on the Switch controller to mount and dismount. Players' weapons must be sheathed for mounting. Monsties must not be staggered or toppled for mounting. The player must also not be affected by a stagger, stun, paralysis, or sleep status effect for mounting. Using the target cam on a wild monster while mounted will make your Monstie target them and seek them out. This can be used to quickly find monsters like your raider rides, but better. You can also ride your Monstie during combat, but be aware that players now take a fixed amount of non-lethal damage whenever their Monstie is staggered. If the player's health is brought down to 1 HP, your Monstie will be toppled and you will be thrown off. Mounting your Monstie does not consume any stamina, and you should no longer be thrown off when crawling through caves or going out of bounds, though it does happen rarely in certain areas. One common cause is not allowing your mount animation to complete fully before your Monstie moves into one of these out of bounds areas, which they may do automatically if targeting something. There is also a bug in the current patch 3.4.0 which requires you to hold the brace button or brace key in order to not be thrown off when going out of bounds. Monsties now include a ride controller feature, which allows you to have free omnidirectional movement controls for fluid movement while riding. This includes free roam on the land and in the sky, allowing you to go out of bounds in areas where you would normally be kicked off. Important note, Barioth and Valhazak cannot ride controller fly. They will hover in place and refuse to move. They can be controlled normally while mounted on the ground, but you will have to allow them to steer themselves while in the air. In order to use the ride controller, make sure your target cam is set on your Monstie. This will force it to ignore enemy monsters and give you full control of its omnidirectional movement. Ride controller inputs include left thumbstick up on controller or W on keyboard to make the Monstie move in the direction your camera is facing. You can also move the thumbstick or use WASD to go in any direction, regardless of where your camera is facing. You can also use R1 on the controller or R on the keyboard to make your Monstie aim higher. This can be used on the ground to make your Monstie climb some very high walls, or in the air to make your flyer pitch upwards while gliding. Pressing the left thumbstick or the left shift, the roll dodge key, will make your Monstie perform an evade, which will also help with getting unstuck. And lastly, the mounted item pickup can be used to pick up items and tracks while mounted. On PlayStation controller, hit circle, on Xbox controller, hit B, and on keyboard, hit G, while over an item or a track to pick it up while on your creature. If you cannot interact with the item, you will get a message telling you so. Next, let's discuss the perks of your new friend. Designed to be seamless in combat, you cannot damage your Monstie, and they cannot damage you. Monsties should not be able to push you out of the way or block your attacks, even when standing directly on top of you. If they do, please report this as a bug. This includes the Clutch Claw, which will pass straight through their body. If your Monstie is standing on top of you, you should still be able to see your character's outline. If you're struggling to see due to your Monstie standing on top of you, try moving away from them. You can also try choosing a smaller species, such as Odogaron, Kirin, or Toby, or choosing a Monstie that prefers flight, like Shrieking Legiana or Rathalos. Monsties deal damage that scales with their individual level. You cannot, however, see this damage, with the exception of poison, without the use of third-party mods, just like your Palico. However, each species is balanced to be similar in their damage output. Due to enemy weaknesses, status buffs, and other perks, there are many reasons to vary up your Monstie selection. Each species also has specific perks and abilities that will unlock as you level them up, to help you choose your best suited companion. We will discuss these abilities in more detail shortly. Monsties will also help you recover from negative statuses such as stun, sleep, and paralysis by roaring. Their health roars will also only affect players in need during multiplayer. Some tweaks have been made to tripping on monster companions to keep them from getting stun locked by stronger enemies. All Monsties have been given evasive, countering, or tanking capabilities based on their species. Every few hits they take, they'll perform a dodge or shrug off the hit instead of flinching or getting knocked over. The Monsties are balanced with the intention of making everyone useful despite your opponent. And while element still plays a role, you're perfectly capable of bringing the same elemental Monstie to a fight, like Zinogre hunting a Kirin, and fighting them equally useful. Some Monsties are certainly heavy hitters like Brachy, but everyone can hold their own. Element itself is translated into raw damage based on the target's weakness, neutrality, or resistance to that element, so matching weaknesses still works as far as raw numbers are concerned. Keep this in mind while fighting a Latreon. The element isn't true element and will not count towards his elemental thresholds. However, it will deal more raw damage if you bring the correct type matchup. Status effects work mostly as expected, but are rebalanced. For example, Blast has been removed from all Monsties. However, Poison applies actual poison stacks, and uniquely, Emotes can apply Elder Seal. Other dragon monsters do not utilize the same mechanic and only apply raw damage, dragon translated into raw damage, without the ability to Elder Seal. Another important detail to note is that your Monstie may perform better in combat when left flying or grounded, assuming it has the option, based on its species. Rathalos and Kushala, for example, are better left airborne during a fight, whereas Rathian and Teostra seem to perform better when grounded. Others, like Shrieking Legiana, seem to at least partially ignore the follow, walk, or fly commands during combat, and favor their wings regardless until combat ends. This is likely due to their attack set being largely airborne. However, I still recommend leaving them flying so that they don't waste time landing to reposition. Keep your Monstie's natural behaviors in mind when setting them to follow, walk, or fly in combat, and they'll serve you better as a result. As we've discussed, each Monstie has unique abilities that fit their species, as well as basic commands which can be activated using shoutouts. Abilities and commands can be assigned and used from the in-game Radial menu, as we discussed earlier. To unlock these abilities, simply level up your Monstie, and keep in mind that each species levels independently. Each companion can have and use up to 3 abilities on a cooldown, such as Glavenus restoring your sharpness. Not all species have 3 abilities. Not all species have activatable abilities. Some of these abilities will be passive. As a species levels up, the cooldown to use their abilities shortens. The duration of these abilities will also lengthen for stat boost abilities. Now let's go down the list, starting with Nargacuga. Ability 1, Instant Stamina Refill at level 10. Ability 2, Evade Window plus Speed Boost at level 10. Passive ability, grants the player Stealth 3 and Speed Crawler level 1 at level 10. Glavenus. Ability 1, Sharpness Restore Large at level 10. Ability 2, Attack Up, level 10. Passive ability, can sever tails from enemy monsters, always active even at level 1. Odegarin. Ability 1, Cure Bleed at level 10. Ability 2, Max Stamina Up at level 10. Ebony Odegarin. Ability 1, Cure Bleed status with a short cooldown at level 10. Ability 2, Affinity Up at level 10. Passive, attacks apply Elder Seal, always active, even from level 1. Bal Hazak. Ability 1, Hot Spring Regeneration, level 10. Becomes extended health recovery past level 20. Ability 2, All Status Resistance, level 20. Passive ability, Effluvial Expert, at level 10. Tigrex, passive ability, Super Roar that staggers enemy monsters, plus attack up boost upon enraging. Kirin, ability 1, Elemental Attack Boost, level 10. Ability 2, Divine Protection, level 10. Kushala Deora, ability 1, Negate Wind Pressure, level 10. Ability 2, Speed Boost and Evade Window Up, level 10. Teostra, ability 1, Abnormal Status Attack Boost, level 10. Ability 2, Ice Resistance Up Large, level 10. Ability 3, Free Permanent Hot Drink Effect, level 10. The hot drink effect must be activated by the player and is permanent once it is used. Lunastra, ability 1, Extended HP Recovery, level 10. Ability 2, Earplugs Large, level 10. Nergigante, ability 1, Attack Up, level 10. Ability 2, Blight Negated, level 10. Devil Joe, ability 1, Attack Up, level 10. Ability 2, Extended HP Recovery, level 10. Bury Off, ability 1, Speed Boost plus Evade Window Up, level 10. Ability 2, Max Stamina Up plus Recovery, includes Cap Raise, level 10. Ability 3, free permanent cool drink effect, level 10. The cool drink effect will need to be activated by the player, at which point it will be permanent until the quest ends. Brachydios, Ability 1, Order to refresh Fist Slime, level 10. Ability 2, Cure Blast Blight from player, short cooldown, level 10. Fulgur Anjanath, Ability 1, Elemental Attack Up, level 10. Ability 2, Max Stamina Up plus Recovery, includes Cap Raise, level 10. Velkhana, Ability 1, Elemental Attack Boost, level 10. Ability 2, Resuscitate, level 10. Gold Rathian, Ability 1, Abnormal Status Attack Increase, level 10. Ability 2, Divine Protection, level 10. Silver Rathalos, Ability 1, Elemental Attack Boost, level 10. Ability 2, Permanent Fire Resist Up Small, level 10. Yan Garuga, Ability 1, Attack Up Small, level 10. Ability 2, Earplugs, Small at level 10, Large at level 20. Rajang, Ability 1, Attack Up, level 10. Ability 2, Tremor Resistance, level 10. Zinogre, Ability 1, Attack Up, level 10. Ability 2, Elemental Attack Boost, level 10. Stygian Zinogre, Ability 1, Attack Up, level 10. Ability 2, Elemental Attack Boost, level 10. Ability 3, Cure Dragon Blight, level 10. Shrieking Legiana, Ability 1, Evade Window plus Speed Boost, level 10. Ability 2, Divine Blessing, level 10. Puke Puke, Ability 1, Status Attack Up, level 10. Ability 2, All Ailments Negated, level 10. Ability 3, Special, Feed your Pookie a random berry to enhance its bit attacks, level 10. The type of berry will change the effect. Diablos, Ability 1, Fire Resist Up Large, permanent until faint, level 10. Ability 2, Negate Tremors, level 10. Ability 3, Special, Landslide, level 10. Only usable in the Wildspire Waste. Your Diablos will dig underground, and after a brief moment it will activate the Northeast Sand Trap. Time it well. Namiel, Ability 1, Extended HP Recovery, level 10. Ability 2, Elemental Effectiveness, level 10. For both Ability 1 and Ability 2, if you are using Hunting Horn, play your song first before using the Monstie ability, and it will stack the buff duration additively. Passive ability, Rain Synergy, level 10. While under the heavy rain of the ancient forest, your party gains the following boons. Your Namiel is given unlimited water aura. Your hunter is given health recovery, which stacks with Ability 1 and the Valhazak set bonus. Basilgoose, Ability 1, Cure Blastlight, level 10. Anjanath, Ability 1, Elemental Attack Up, level 10. Ability 2, Max Stamina Cap Up, level 10. Tobi Kadachi, Ability 1, Max Stamina Cap Up, level 10. Ability 2, Speed Boost and Evade Window Up, level 10. Ability 3, Special. After performing a climbing move, Tobi's next two attacks deal increased damage, level 10. Can only be used in areas where Tobi can climb on the walls. Bonboro, Ability 1, Attack Up Large, level 10. Ability 2, Permanent Hot Drink Effect, level 10. Ability 3, Permanent Cool Drink Effect, level 10. The permanent drink effects will need to be activated once before they will be utilized. Legiana, Ability 1, Speed Boost and Evade Window, level 10. Ability 2, Divine Protection, level 10. Passive, grants +1 to Jump Master and +1 to Leap of Faith at level 10. Brute Tigrex, Ability 1, Attack Up Small, level 10. And Ability 2, Earplugs, level 10. For now, this is the entire roster of Monsties. As more Monsties are released, I will make follow-up videos to discuss them. Now that you've chosen your companion, let's name your new Monstie. Monsties display a name tag, which by default is the monster species name. The species name will be visible in multiplayer mode, but in single-player mode you can have a unique Monstie name that is only visible to you. It is important that you only use A through Z non-accented English alphabet letters for the time being. No symbols or other languages, or it will corrupt your save. To assign your Monstie's name, simply open the in-game chat using Insert on keyboard. In the chat box, type /MHS space set name, space, and your desired Monstie name. Send the message and you will not receive a message in return. However, if you are in an area where the Monstie name was already visible, you can simply open and close your map to see the changes. You'll need to make sure that you are outdoors in the Celiana hub, in your Celiana room, outdoors in the Astera lower levels, or on a mission or expedition to see the Monstie name. If you are indoors in the Celiana hub, not in your room, you will not be able to see the Monstie name regardless of whether or not you have changed it. The next feature I want to discuss is the Safi Jiva Assist. Only when fighting Safi can you bring a second Monstie along for the fight. This includes the mod that makes Safi a normal quest for 1 to 4 hunters, as long as he is still in his map. This does not apply to Kolv. You can only get a secondary assist Monstie for Safi. Some commands will only apply to your primary Monstie, not the assist Monstie. Follow commands and summoning commands still work on both. However, naming and writing will only work on the primary Monstie. Using the Monstie Manager, choose a new Monstie, not your primary, from the drop-down menu and click Set to Siege. Make sure you select 2 different monster species, not duplicates, or it won't let you assign them. While using 2 Monsties, it is very important to keep Safi target locked with the camera, otherwise the Monsties risk detecting one another and standing idle. If you are having issues with your target camera, please check your target camera settings. If you wish to use your Siege Assist Monstie in normal gameplay, to switch out, you cannot have both. You must first change your set Monsties to someone else or it will not work. Example, Zinogre is set to Siege Assist, and Val Hazak is set to normal Monstie. Set Siege Assist Monstie to Devil Joe or another non-chosen Monsties that is not Val or Zinogre. Then you can select Zinogre as your normal Monstie. If you'd like, you can now also set Val to Siege Assist. Monstie attacks help to tenderize Safi's arms, legs, face, and tail. Use the part targeting command to make your Monsties focus on a specific area, or allow them to attack freely. While you can always rely on your favorite Monsties regardless of typing or abilities, keep in mind that some Monsties have special perks to help you out in a bind. Glavenus can sever Safi's tail, while Brachydios can break its parts with ease. Ebonioda Garen can even Elder Seal the Great Red Dragon. If you're struggling or simply wish to be more efficient, there's plenty of Monsties for the job. And now with one of the most recent additions, you can be permanently on the hunt. As of update 3.3.1, both Safi Jiva and Kolv Taras sieges never leave rotation and can always be played. Just keep in mind the Siege Assist only applies to Safi, only one Monstie will follow you to Kolv. The last feature I wish to discuss with you today is online multiplayer. If you wish to play multiplayer without the mod, simply disable the mod via the Monstie Manager. There's no need to uninstall just to go online. However, if you wish to play online with other riders, multiplayer mode allows a Monstie to join your squad on hunts. Only one Monstie per party, which must be agreed upon. Safi is the only exception to the one Monstie rule, and both Monsties must be aligned in your settings. Done correctly, it should be a seamless experience. So make sure your Monsties are the same, and when fighting Safi, assign to the correct slot to be safe. To start, open your Monstie Manager and simply click Enable Multiplayer on the right. Enabling multiplayer is necessary to reduce lag, as well as disable and enable features that make the mod stable in multiplayer. All players must have the mod installed and must have the same creature selected. You can only bring one creature with you, and trying to select multiple will only break the mod and your lobby, causing crashes. Swapping between creatures is welcomed, but a party must agree on who to take. It is also recommended that you enter one load screen, moving between zones in Astera or Celiana, entering your room, etc., to ensure the new Monstie has been loaded properly before going on your next mission. The host Monstie level will always take priority. If the host has a level 6 Zinogre, but yours is level 50, the lobby Zinogre will still be level 6. The host is generated automatically. It should be the person who posted the quest or made the lobby. The toggle host command is now obsolete for old riders. Only the host can command the Monstie. Monstie names are disabled in multiplayer. If names are visible, you will only see the species name. Monstie idols and behavior may slightly change between single and multiplayer to save on memory. Mounted Monsties also deal slightly increased damage while mounted in multiplayer, though only the host can mount. For solo players wishing to play in public lobbies, you can do so if you set the quest to solo. When selecting the quest, simply set the player count to 1 player. That way other hunters can't join your mission. Or create a hub with a code required to join the lobby and set it to friends only. I still recommend setting quests to 1 player if you have friends who may join off of Steam on unintended quests. This mod is not intended to be used with players without the mod or without the same Monstie. If Monsties are not the same between players, or the other players do not have the mod, it causes a myriad of issues. Monsties will be invisible and out of sync, and interacting with them will cause crashes to desktop, or cause the lobby to crash and throw players to different sessions. Interactions with the Monsties are not limited to physical touch. If somehow your Monstie is activated through gameplay, or by the map itself, you and everyone else in the lobby is likely to crash. This means you must be wary when sending out an SOS or joining randoms online. Disable Monsties, keep it to single player or gaming with friends. You can also use the Looking for Players channel in the Discord. And that concludes my coverage of the Monster Hunter Stories Iceborne mod as of patch 3.4.0. If you have any questions, please feel free to hit me up in the Discord in the description and the pinned comment below. You can find the full installation guide and about guide we've covered here in the Discord, as well as all of Fandirus' other mods. He has created mods for Monster Hunter Stories 2 as well as Sunbreak. If you're feeling generous, you can also consider donating to Fandirus through PayPal. Just hit him up in the DMs because he has some rules about donations that I'll put on screen now. Other than that, you can follow him on Twitch in the news and updates channel of the Discord, where he will post alerts when he goes live. As updates for the mod come out, I will also make update videos as needed and link to them in the end card and description, etc. But that's enough for today. Thank you so much for watching, and happy hunting!